Oh my gosh. What the hell? Hello there, welcome back to my channel. My name's SKYMAN Universe and your Star Wars code for today. We are ready to do awesome part. And today we're going to be reacting to chapter 23 of The Mandalorian. Chapter 22, we'll get on to that very shortly. We've just finished Star Wars Celebration. There's a big video which I made, which I'm currently editing through at the moment. But I will say this, it was an amazing experience, amazing to meet you all, see you all, talk to you all. But I'll cover all that in the video which will be following this one as well. About all the highs and then all the not so highs, etc, etc. But anyway, on to The Mandalorian. Last week's Mandalorian, I heard, well, everyone that I spoke to at Celebration, I don't think I came across one person who said they liked that episode. Now, I loved all the droid bits in there. Anything with droids in it, I tend to be a big fan of. And the fact that we got the B-1 battle droids, the super battle droids, the droid cantina. And there was something, I think what I was trying to explain, the main thing which I liked about that episode was the feel of when you got into that droid place, wherever that was, and that sort of atmosphere. It always felt, the imagery, the atmosphere, it felt very Star Warsy, and it's something which I noticed, but normally I wouldn't have to think twice about it, and that's what you want. And I think Bryce Dallas Howard does a great job at doing that. She understands the planets. However, I totally get the sort of distaste a little bit for the Duchess, and I think if that episode was shoved closer to the start of the series, it would have been received a lot better. And that's only because I feel like we're close to the end of the season now, and this narrative hasn't really progressed. Like, it started off with Mandalore, it got interesting, and then it just flips off and goes on these sort of what you would probably call filler episodes. And doesn't serve the narrative so much. There's a lot of important events happening, and I don't think we've got time for sort of fun episodes. Even though it was good, I loved Doc, Christopher Lloyd in there. I thought that was really good. A Separatist sympathizer, a Count Dooku fan. I thought that was really good, but I get it. Like, to be honest, when I edited the last one, I took out my reactions to the Duchess, and I think the Mandalorians as well, which I seem to remember looked like Power Rangers, and yeah, there was just something about it which I didn't like all of that bit, because it felt a bit too jokey. I loved all the aliens in there, and that's something which I really paid attention to and enjoyed. I loved all of that aspect. It certainly felt Star Warsy. There was certainly more of an effort with aliens, but the Duchess character, it felt out of place, completely out of place for Star Wars. And like, the imagery was good, but this sort of dystopian sort of dome thing, and then them sitting in the pods, like, it was, I get what they was doing, but I don't know if it sort of worked as well. One thing I noticed on the Star Wars Celebration, we went to the Doug Chang panel, which was really incisive. Got a picture with him, that was amazing. But he talks about the Mandalorian, and something I noticed with the Mandalorian, all of the conceptual designs tend to convey more atmosphere than what we actually get on screen, and it looks way cooler in the designs than it does on screen. I'm thinking, how, like, why is that translation seem to be always different when literally the perfect thing which is being conceptualized is there, and then that atmosphere doesn't carry through so much. And I've seen that before, like at the end when you see the conceptual art for the credits. But yeah, I think at this point, last episode should have been a build up to these last two episodes, and start to home in that, you know, some serious narrative should be going on, and not only finding the Mandalorians sort of now and teaming up. Even then, the Mandalorians, there's just small things which I noticed, like in the Clone Wars, pretty much in the crowd, every single Mandalorian, they had like their sort of blondish hair and green eyes, like Ormac. And I like the idea of just different, you know, looks, but they don't stay true to that at all. I get all the foundlings are going to be different, and they should remain in the foundlings section. But people actually lived on Mandalore. I feel like they should honor that creative design which George Lucas made earlier on. But obviously this is a Disney show, so you have to go down that avenue, and they just all look like Power Rangers, I thought, with the helmets off. And I don't know if the acting was a top notch for some of the Mandalorians standing there, but that end fight scene was awesome, and I really like that. But then Bo-Katan gets the Darksaber, so it's like, what's Din Djarin even doing there? Like, he should be the one with the importance. Like, he's the one who sort of deserves to take this step, and then to have the power to rule Mandalore. Everyone recognizes him, but then he does sort of the ultimate honorable thing of saying, I'm not here to rule. Here's Bo-Katan, and she is going to lead you, and she helped me, and said in front of everyone after he's done something special for Mandalore, because the story should be about Din Djarin, but I feel like he's becoming a side character in his own show. Grogu's just sort of there and sort of jumping around, and then jumping into Dutch's arms and that sort of cutie thing, but yeah, I think there should be more emphasis on Din, that's for sure. I like the fact that he had more of an important role with his clan, and they sort of see him as one of the leaders. But I think to take Mandalore, he should have kept hold of the Darksaber, that's for sure, especially if he doesn't know where Moff Gideon is and if he's disappeared. But then again, I suppose he had the Darksaber, Moff Gideon didn't have anything then. Yeah, maybe that's why they exchanged. But anyway, I heard from Celebration, some people got to watch, I think maybe episode 7, I don't know if it was episode 8 as well, but made friend down there, and he said, told me all about it when he managed to get in there, and he didn't spoil anything, but he said it's, it ramps up basically. Even the director, he's Rick, I think his name's Rick, on one of the live stages was saying that sort of it all happened in these last 2 episodes, and it's you don't know if that's advertising or whether to believe them or not, and because I would have thought it would have been all happening in this season, but it hasn't felt like that throughout, like with that Coruscant episode and what have you. So yeah, I'm really expecting some great surprises in this one. Moff Gideon 100% has to be in this. So hopefully that's the case. I've seen pictures and people's thumbnails of Praetorian guards, which I don't know if that concerns me or excites me. It kind of excites me, but there was one ultimate theory which I was thinking about, and that's with the Ahsoka thing. And I thought about it last night, but I forgot the main thing of it. But it's to do with Ahsoka and the world between worlds, and you could still take the direction of the sequels and head in that direction. But it still can be changed into something else. I did cook up an amazing fan theory about Ahsoka and the world between worlds, and their sort of sequels being tied in with Mandalorian. I thought, oh my god, what a revelation. But I thought about that before bed, and then I fell asleep, and lo and behold, I forgot what that theory was anyway. Kind of been that great. But yeah, it's sort of, I hope they tread very carefully how they proceed with sort of linking up with the sequels and things, but I think Ahsoka might be the saviour still. There's still a glimmer of hope with that. But anyway, let's watch, let's react, let's have a good time. 52 minutes long as well. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Blood has been spilled by your own hands.
Power Rangers. That was such a weird, creepy episode, and not so great as well. Coruscant still looks pretty amazing. We're back to my favourite character. Interesting.
Report.
Here he is.
Quick, as I am short on time. Mandalorians.
The
According to the reports received by the New Republic,
God, I miss Moff Gideon's theme.
Continue with your mission. I shall deal with our Mandalorians.
About time. You should have been at the start as well. What's he cooking up this time? Is that more cloning stuff?
Grand Admiral Thrawn's return will herald in the re-emergence of our
Oh my gosh.
Commandant Hux. Enough time to deliver on Project
Who?
Necromancer.
You say Hux?
That Grand Admiral Thrawn is missing from your delegation.
Not for long, boy.
You have spoken of his imminent return. Perhaps it's time we look to new leadership.
I love that this is all interlocking with Ahsoka. This is brilliant.
What goes on in my sector, no more, no less. The
A
same
master and an
can be said
apprentice,
of every member of this
which was
council.
destroyed.
3 Praetorian guards. Sounds like someone
So
was
that is
concerned
true.
about an assassination attempt.
They continue to be an issue.
They do.
I love that Imperial. He's proper Imperial.
That they are preparing to
An
retake
issue?
their home world.
You'll have your reinforcements. And your guard.
Josh.
We shall be rid of the Mandalorians once and for all. Long live the Empire! Long live the Empire!
Come on. That was so good, like the reference with Thrawn, Praetorian Guards. I mean, I did like the Praetorian Guards, I just hated their jaw with passion. And I loved that sort of power struggle trying to find itself within the remnants of the Empire. That I find so intriguing. That's no Imperial shuttle.
That's a light cruiser. Look at the markings. See those, my friend?
This is so cool seeing the clans come together.
Take the children inside.
Look at all those Mandalorians. I still hate the one that was rude to Boba Fett. But Jon Favreau doesn't. Oh my god. Oh.
The pilot provides cognition.
Oh. I don't know if I like that. This is kind of amazing. It's so strange.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I can totally relate to that.
Yes.
No. Yes. Working for me.
I mean, this is an amazing idea to do that. Like, I never would have thought that, but like, I'll miss IG-11, so I thought he would come back as sort of Grogu's protector and look after him again. That would have been really emotional.
I need volunteers from.
Let's hope it's not the Boba Fett one then. I dare to speak against the Fett.
Grogu as well.
An IG-12. We don't want you. Clear out.
I will go.
Good. Vizsla. We need a Vizsla in the team. So it looks like they're all going, so I mean, I feel like I could be quite excited, even if there's sequel links in here somehow. That looks so good. But if the sequels, it doesn't end up being the sequels, because there were some cool things from there, like the Praetorian Guards were interesting. I'd be curious to know more if Snoke was actually his own person as opposed to a creation. Welcome home, Mandalorians. I don't think I can get over IG-12. I hope somehow, like, his primary function kicks in or something, he turns into IG-11. Now, to film in the volume must be pretty awesome. What the hell's that? Not more of those weird spider monsters, I hope.
I didn't trust
He looks
him,
like
but it was
Christian
the only
Bale.
chance I had to save our people.
Longer. It shattered into many warring factions.
Oh, there's Bo-Katan.
Our people have suffered time and again.
In character. These are the reasons I serve you, Lady Kryze. Your song is not yet written. I will serve you until it is.
Oh, you lucky girl. Did have me worried for a second there that it was the end of the chapter. If the Imperials are there. Is that how would they know? Because they've lost communications.
But only the Wing Guard can flank you. These primitives make up their own rules for everything. Seriously?
I'll be on the Favreau side. Just make sure it's Favreau that wins. Oh gosh, that hits me differently.
You taught your apprentice well.
You didn't learn that from me.
Oh my, it's Godzilla. It is as well. Is anyone going to shoot us? Got best go on with him. That makes sense now. Come on, Din. Looks pretty imperial to me. Gosh.
What is this place?
It's a trap. Oh no. Is it just Din in there? No way. No. What the hell? Moth. What the hell?
Disarm.
What the
Thank
hell?
you for gathering. I will create an army that will bring order to the
Has
galaxy.
he cloned himself?
Take him to the debriefing room.
Doesn't Bo have the dark saber? Surely she can get through that door. There we go. What about Vizsla? He's not going to fit through there. Oh, don't do a sacrificial move here. I sensed he might do something like this earlier on. No! This is not the way! No, no, come on! Damn it. John Favreau Vizsla is the way. Come on. No. You can do it, Boromir. Oh my gosh. What the hell? My god. We have lots to talk about. Bloody hell. Oh my gosh. Get one of them. Come on, just get one, please. My god. My god, that episode was crazy. I mean, like, I feel like this should have been probably the episode before this one. And they really could have built this one up as well, because, I mean, the things that have just happened and been implemented in this chapter have repercussive effects, like monumental ones, further on down in Star Wars so-called canon at the moment, leading on to sequels. But one thing which just strikes me straight away, the first most fundamental, like, immediate thing with the Praetorian Guards, within how many seconds were they on? A minute, 2 minutes, and within that space of time, on a TV show, like, they've managed to create this really scary, imposing Praetorian Guards, which have just done something which makes you fear them and respect them and think they're not to be trifled with, basically, within that short period of time. And yet in the sequels they were just a laughing joke of just cannon fodder, basically. And the comparison between how both have been filmed and this has been set up with Moff Gideon and his role with all of this, and the remnants of the Imperials putting all this together, and there's this faction. Like, I actually feel genuinely excited with how much that is going to be implemented in there in terms of, like, the Empire and how it transforms. But that excitement will only remain provided it doesn't head off in the direction of the sequels. I mean, everything so far is, but it doesn't mean you can't take some bits from it, like the Praetorian Guards, who I was one of them. When I saw them, I wanted to know what they did. Like, I wanted to see them in action and their importance. Instead, we just saw this one of the worst fights ever, literally laughable, on screen, and then disposed of within seconds. With this, it was brutal. Like, it was just crazy. And that's how you do, that's how you present these characters, that's how you show them. And that's what I applaud the Mandalorian for doing something like that. And if they're able to cherry pick good parts, to me, I feel like they're the ones that are creating the interest. They're the ones that are creating these imaginative stories for the sequels. And I don't want the sequels to steal the glory for what the Mandalorian is actually setting up now, with Moff Gideon, the Mandalorians, the Praetorian Guards, the Beskar armor, Thrawn coming back. You know, it all seems, and the clone creation as well. this is what the Mandalorian is setting up, and the sequels don't deserve to reap the benefits and rewards for this expansion which they are putting in place, because the sequels, there was no plan, there was nothing, it was just a complete waste of time. And this is one of the things, if you head in the direction of the sequels, especially with implementing the things which they're showing here now, like, it's just going to diminish what they are creating right now. So it's going to have bad effects all around if there's a link up there, people who didn't like the sequels, and also diminishing the Mandalorian as well. Because with an episode like this, where the narrative is progressed, it's building up to something. Like, it makes sense, like the previous seasons, it all links up. Like, you've been on a journey, and that's what it feels like with this. Like, they talked about Mandalore, and now they're on Mandalore. And now when they're there, Moff Gideon's there. He's been experimenting, he's been building things, he's been creating things, and now it's sort of built up to some sort of climax. Originally, with just some of the troopers flying in, Moff Gideon's troopers, I thought, well, you know, what's this, a couple of scouting party sort of thing, and then it just made it out like it was going to be a full-on war, which I thought, well, this is probably what we're going to get. That's what you get in a TV show. I was kind of hoping for when the blast doors open with Kenobi there in Clone Wars, and just chaos with the Mandalorians at each other. I was thinking like a massive war scene like that, but it still could turn into that in the last episode, and the fact that it sort of led on into Moff Gideon's sort of lair. Then you see the expansive nature of it all, and then it starts to feel like, crap, there might be some sort of huge battle which is about to take place. What I find strange is how they're going to progress with the building of Mandalore. I was hoping that we'd see something like that, and just massive ships coming in and huge construction, and to make at least some sort of small place to start upon. I don't think we're going to get that in the next episode, but I feel like there will be an aggressive expansion on the war. I don't know, actually, because the bombers and interceptors going up to take on the fleet, so a space battle will be guaranteed, which would be cool with the Mandalorian ships. But whether they increase numbers down below on the ground, I don't know. But I hope there is just this humongous Mandalorian Empire face-off where Moff Gideon just brings out more of his troops. The eminence of the Empire come and join him as well, and bring more reinforcements. And the same happens with the Mandalorians. And even if there was Mandalorians in hiding, that they turn up as well. That would be epic. That would be so good. But it certainly built up the ante in this episode. We got to talk about Grogu and IG-12. Like, I wasn't really expecting something like that, but then when he could talk what Grogu is thinking, that really hit me for some reason. I don't know why, but just saying yes, 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 yes. Well, then for me, I can relate to that. Like, I know exactly what that's like. It just gets me. Like, it's like I can't hold it in anymore. My whole life, I can sit and watch anything and just, if I felt emotional, it was easy. But anything now, like with Grogu, and it hits me so differently. Like, just seeing him wander around or just behind there, it just goes to show how much of a sort of emotional connection you've made with the character, and how you feel. I certainly feel like really protective for him now, and seeing him sort of run behind as IG-12, I just think, even though he looks strange, it's kind of like the cutest thing ever. But I somewhat wish that the Babu Frick people, they repaired IG-11 somehow. Like, he was still there, like when he was a zombie IG-11. And if they repaired him and then made that pouch for Grogu, that would have been really nice touch, I would have thought. When I feel like something will happen, there will be another epic rescue, but then maybe Grogu will get into a little bit of trouble, sort of in over his feet, so to speak, and then IG-11's base function will always, he will sort of return a little bit. It somehow would look after Grogu. Hopefully, I really hope something like that would happen. That would just be, if you want to see tears, then that's probably what would happen, or something like that. Because I freaking love that droid and his sort of nurse function that he had for it as well. And obviously, it's a callback to Quill as well. And I love that early Mandalorian era, and I thought that was really special. So any callback to that, it's kind of like they're getting back the team together. One of the things which I found strange is why Moff Gideon went after Din Djarin as opposed to Bo-Katan. Maybe it was just, who he managed to get. But what's going to happen? Like, what's Din going to do? He hasn't got the Darksaber. Like, sure, he's captured, but then, like, Bo's obviously going to go after him. Grogu's obviously going to go after him. R.I.P. Vizsla, Favreau Vizsla. I mean, that was epic, but that was brutal at the same time with the Praetorian Guards. And I wasn't expecting anything like that. Like I said, I saw from thumbnails that people put up that they were going to return, but I thought it would just be sort of a mere mention or something like that. If not, just see them like how we saw the clones, whatever Moff was making, and with the Dark Troopers as well. And sort of that be it. You sort of get a glimpse of them. I had no idea that they were going to come out in this creepy sort of atmospheric way, and the fact that they're sort of like they're used like that they can use them, like the fact that Moff can request their use. It seems like really serious. And what I was intrigued about previously of the sequels somewhat, in terms of Snoke and Praetorian Guards, I still have that sort of air of mystery which I would be sort of invested in, so to speak. But like I said, that investment will only go so far, providing we don't head in the direction of the sequels. That is the only thing. One of the things at Star Wars Celebration, I went to the panel Villains of the Sequel Trilogy, and they was talking about the characters. Gwendolyn, Phasma was there, and Andy Serkis for Snoke, and Ian McDiarmid for the Emperor. And it was quite insightful when you heard Andy Serkis talk about how he was creating the Snoke character and how he was trying to play him and portray him, and saying there's deep wounds within which he can't let go of, and that fear of loss is just driven him to what he has become today. So he created sort of this backstory, and it's still just far more interesting. Like, there were layers that he created and put down before he even found out that Snoke was just going to be a clone or something. So something which I really love the idea of, that Moff Gideon sort of made himself a Mandalorian. He's made himself the armor. He's got the Beskar. He's made his own troopers. And so their troopers are force sensitive. I don't know. I didn't quite get that. But anyway, whatever he's creating, his own sort of personal army, he's like one step ahead of the game of everyone, which is what I like. And we must talk about Thrawn. So I don't even know if it was in the main trailer, but I'm sure that you probably know that it was in the Ahsoka trailer. Well, I was at the Ahsoka panel. Spoilers incoming if you don't want it spoiled, but I will continue now. That in the trailer that they showed us, Thrawn, we saw Thrawn, obviously he returned, like we saw the actor. I'm pretty sure that's very well known, and everyone found that out, and they showed everyone as well online. But the fact that he was there and came back, and then I was thinking, wow, like, for once, this sort of excitement that there's an enemy, like a new one, and Thrawn would be someone who's new and fresh, and the spark just felt ignited for interest again in Star Wars. And I was thinking they can actually go somewhere really good with this. They can create something really cool from the fragments left of the Empire and turn it into something. I mean, who can do it? It's Thrawn, and to have people like Moff Gideon with him as well, and some of, Moustache Imperial there too, who was pretty awesome. People like that. I mean, yeah, I feel like the Empire can turn into something awesome. And the designs for the Mandalorian Empire Mandalorians there were awesome. Like, that looked really cool and Star Warsy as well. So I mean, they can go there. They can create something fresh, interesting, formidable, and give Star Wars some sort of future. However, the thing which sort of counteracts that is the fact that they released, well, I'd say the notion that there was going to be a sequel to the sequels, which I found just one of the most bizarre announcements ever. It's like they really didn't quite understand their audience so much. With the Daisy Ridley one, so she's going to be a Jedi Master, and she's going to create new Jedi, God forbid what they're all going to be like, but yeah, which means if that movie is created, then it further solidifies the existence of what happened previously. And the main reason why I feel passionate about it, it's not like there weren't good elements in the sequels, but it's the way that the original cast was treated. It's the way how we never got the Luke Han Leia meetup. It's the complete disregard for the prequels, and even J.J. Abrams saying things like, you know, not including the prequels and trying to veer off from that. That's basically already offending half of your audience. And also not understanding Star Wars as well. It's kind of, you have to be a wise leader, you have to understand all aspects of Star Wars, not just the dogmatic view of a specific ideology within Star Wars. Like, it's, you have to understand it all, and that lack of understanding, the sequels were a product of that, basically. They didn't understand the fans, they didn't understand the characters. The sequels are a manifestation of those troubles, shall we say. So, yeah, like I said, the worry is that it links up with the sequels, but cherry picking some cool things from there, like the Praetorian Guards, who we just saw look crazy and scary, and yeah, and just the way they did that was just mad. So that inclusion in there and veering off to do their own thing, because what I'm seeing so far, I think there's potential, and they could, and what an opportunity, and just don't waste it. That's all I want to say, is just don't waste that opportunity. Go and do something with the good things which you've got at the moment. Otherwise, you're going to head down further into this sequel-ness, and I don't think that's going to be good. There's a lot of things I talk about in my Star Wars Celebration video, which will be up after this one. It's probably about an hour long, maybe longer. Combine both the footage and pictures and things, and talking about literally all my story and being there. One of the things I will say now is just, you know, in terms of movies and things, there was so much emphasis on the Disney shows, things which I feel like were created for the sense of, because it's trendy to create a certain something like that with certain shows, and I didn't even know anything about it until I caught up on it or was told about certain things. That's the irony of Celebration. Like, you won't really find out anything unless you get, you know, win tickets to the panels. Otherwise you won't know, so you have to find out literally last, and I did for a lot of things. And from what I was gathering, there was so much emphasis on all of these shows. You know, you can announce as many movies as you want, but we need solid proof of something. Like, because what have we had? Announcement after announcement after announcement. It gets changed last minute. It's a complete mess. So until you see it, that's when we will believe it. I think it was Bob Iger that announced the 3 Star Wars movies, episode 7, 8, and 9. And you just remember that buzz, and that was official. But anything that comes from Lucasfilm, the heads up there, it doesn't really sound official. I think Dave Filoni's is pretty secure, his movie, purely because he's so integral to Lucasfilm, and I can't wait to see what he's able to create. Because what an opportunity, and that man does deserve it. Like, in all honesty, you could see in his speeches, he's so passionate about the fans. He loves the fans, and he loves Star Wars, knows Star Wars, and knows George Lucas, and that's the kind of person who should have been integral to going further or proceeding with Star Wars. But yeah, in terms of this chapter, it was awesome. Yeah, obviously there are minor things in there which just get on my gripe a little bit, but I think overall these sorts of chapters should have been a bit more prominent in this series. I think this probably could have followed the Coruscant episode, really. But to see Moff Gideon back and up to no good, and mentions of Thrawn, and seeing the disarray of the Empire, but how they're trying to, you know, form up again and create something new, is very exciting for me anyway. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with Din, what information they're going to get from him, why he was captured. I don't know why, but it's going to be a rescue operation. There's always got to be something like that which happens, like Grogu getting captured and then Din goes after him and goes on a rampage with his spear and then acquires the Darksaber, and, you know, which led on to Luke Skywalker. I mean, oh my god, imagine if he somehow was involved in the last episode. Highly unlikely, but it would be awesome. But one would only suggest something out there like that because Din's given Bo his sort of service until her song is written, so it's kind of a good opportunity for Grogu to still go and train with Luke. I hope. But yeah, I think that was a very, very positive second to last chapter of the season. Tell me all your thoughts, what you enjoyed and what you're looking forward to see. Love to hear everything that you thought about this episode down below, and what you think the future, all the linking will be between the sequels, if that's going to happen, or if they're going to be savvy, shall we say, with what they're doing at the moment. But yeah, look forward to seeing all that. I hope you enjoyed my reaction. Take care of yourself, and remember, the Force will be with you always.